abandoned at birth, disregarded, scorned by the pretentious art world people when she finally built the courage to show her work, nothing was working in her favor. But yet, she created a magical body of work. Welcome to the world of Dolores Marat. To introduce this gigantic artist, I could tell you about how hard her life has been. I could tell you about her mother refusing to give her a name at birth, leading to the Spanish nurse choosing the name of Dolores, the Spanish word for pain. I could also tell you about how miserable her childhood has been, partially spent in an orphanage, or I could tell you about her adult life, in which she had to raise 2 children alone in a one-room apartment, sometimes leading to her stealing food for their survival. I could also tell you about how mean the art world has been toward her, but I think her work tells us enough about all of this. About her existential angst and the hardships of life, followed by her ability to project poetry onto ordinary scenes. Dolores Marat's encounter with photography is the proof that randomness can lead to great things. At the age of 16, she was working as a seamstress and was predestined to do that for her whole life. But her mom heard about a photographer in the neighboring village that needed someone to do all kinds of petty tasks around the lab. That person, Mr. Froissart, decided to teach the art of photography to Dolores, and particularly the art of developing film. It is in this field that Dolores worked her whole life. But her personal photography only started quite late. It was at the age of 40 that she was able to focus on it. And at that moment, she spent an entire year thinking about what she wanted to photograph. I could have done portraits or still lives. I could have done documentary work. But all of that didn't suit me at all. It took me a year thinking, but Dolores, what do you have an interest in? Well, a very simple thing. Everything that happens around me. People, animals, nature, the sky, the moon, the rain, the snow. That day, I understood I needed to always have my camera with me. And that's exactly what she ended up doing. She walked around, often early in the morning during the blue hour, sometimes at night, capturing whatever provoked an emotion in her. When she photographed animals, we always find a certain sense of solitude in them, such as this owl looking lost in its thoughts, or this elephant slowly disappearing in the forest at night. This cow, draped in blue light, also carries a certain sense of solitude. All of her animal photos are very simple and yet are filled with a certain melancholia. Sorry to interrupt you with this quick ad, I just want to plug in my Substack in which I write photographic essays, and my 2 Instagram. On this one, I post my personal work, and on that one, I post some photo books that I like 3 times a week. If you are interested and if you want to support the channel, I would be glad if you follow me in one or all of those places. And if you want to financially support the channel, don't hesitate to look at my shop in which I sell some prints and some zines that I made. Thanks in advance for the support, and let's get back into the video. Apart from animals, another recurring theme in Dolores' work is urban solitude. Once again, she photographs when she feels a strong emotion, echoing the ones she felt in her life. She explained this interest in photographing isolated persons in this way. I took a lot of photos in the metro. I was really attracted by people who, despite the crowd, managed to stand back, to be in their own world. And I spotted them instinctively, because solitude is something I know well. This image, which might be one of her most famous, is a prime example of her ability to capture urban solitude and turn it into a very emotional and poetic frame. In this context, the poeticization of ordinary scenes can be pushed to the extreme, to the point that even a man urinating can be turned into a lyrical image. Her ability to create something magical out of almost nothing is perhaps best illustrated in her landscapes. No humans, no animals, and yet strong emotions. As she wanted to step out of her comfort zone, which was shooting during blue hour and at night, Dolores started photographing different countries around the Mediterranean Sea in bright daylight. The results are some very oniric landscape shots, often very minimalistic in the things they show, but very maximalistic in the emotions they carry. One of these photos, La Route du Paradis, Road to Paradise in English, displays a simple road in the desert, but Dolores manages to beg questions from her audience. Where does this road lead to? Dolores answers, to paradise. Now that we had a nice overview of Dolores Marat's work, we must ask ourselves, why are the images so good? In my case, the first time I encountered her work, I was grabbed by a strong feeling of melancholia that almost became physical. I felt that photo with my stomach somehow, and this is very rare. I think one of the reasons the work is so good at conveying emotions is because of its impressionist characteristics. She doesn't look for a decisive moment, but rather for an evasive one. She captures those moments that looks like dreams, like hallucinations, and that left a strong impression on her. The photo is not here to document an exact reality, but rather to transfer to the viewer the same emotion that Marat felt when she took the photo. One of the components that participates in creating this impressionism is the motion blur that's present in almost all of her images. It's never a voluntary movement made by moving the camera with hands, but rather Dolores herself advancing towards the scene she wants to photograph as if she was getting grabbed by it. Another characteristic that participates to the impressionism in her work is her use of colors. As you might have noticed, Dolores Marat's images are often monochromatic with strong colors. This inclination and this strong eye for color might be explained by the fact that long before being able to focus on her personal photography, Dolores Marat only owned two art books, one from Van Gogh and one from Gauguin, which are both impressionist painters that are known for their very strong use of colors. The colors participate in the impressionism of the images by not being accurate. This inaccuracy is often the result of using a film roll designed for daylight, while mostly shooting at night with artificial lighting. Another reason that explains why the colors are so good lies in the printing method used by Dolores Marat, the tirage fresson. The tirage fresson is a secret, handcrafted pigment printing process developed by the Fresson family. It's known for its rich, matte, and painterly color tones. This printing process participates in giving a unique look to Dolores Marat's images and is probably one of the reasons why they are so good. There are many other reasons why I think that Dolores Marat's work is extremely good. But let's just cover one more for the sake of keeping this video quite short. And by the way, if you are liking this video so far, don't hesitate to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. So that last reason I want to discuss is the fact that Dolores Marat's work often has a sense of mystery in the images. Sometimes the mystery is real, such as in this image, in which Dolores explains that suddenly a woman appeared holding cables. Marat tried talking to her but did not get an answer back. But sometimes the mystery is made up, created by Dolores' mind, which creates magical moments, almost mystical ones, out of regular scenes. This image, which looks like two angels on a dune, is actually just two people playing in the wind with their jackets. And you might ask me, why is it good that an image has a certain sense of mystery? Well, I think it's good when an image has it because it tends to ask a lot of questions to the viewer, making him contemplate the image for a longer amount of time, trying to solve the mystery that's in it. One of those images, and it's also one of the most famous Dolores Marat image, is this one. It's a very simple image, yet it carries a certain mystery. We don't know who that cowboy in this movie theater is. Did they talk together? Was it just both of them alone in this movie theater? And perhaps we can also ask ourselves, what was the movie? The images simply seem to be coming from a fairy tale, from another, more poetic world than the one we live in. This world is the one Dolores Marat created to escape from her own bleak reality. By capturing her poetic mental universe with her camera, Dolores did not only help herself see the world under a better light, but also anyone that had the chance to see her magnificent body of work. And for that, we can thank her, and I think for this reason, Dolores Marat will be remembered as one of the greatest French photographers. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and we'll see each other in the next one.